like right number of workers, with the right capabilities, right? At the right times, you want to train them in time, to fill in the right positions, kind of like them go to the right place. You want this to be for both short term and long term. So it's not like trying to fill in the job that like happening right now, but you have to look at the growth of the firm, the future of the firms, all that stuff. So it's not just about like having the human resource with the capability to do the job that you're thinking or having in mind, but also it needs to be the right number of people that being trained and accomplish their finish their training or finish their kind of the talent development, in time to fill in the position that you need. So let's see. We talk about career and career planning. Oh my gosh, this is so small. Sorry about people in the back. You do have. So can you? Sorry, it's too small. Oh, it doesn't matter. You have your. I will say it doesn't matter because you have your slide, so you can read from the slide, right? Okay. Sorry, it's so small. Right. So career planning. So what is career? And we talk about job, we talk about tasks, right? We actually do talk about careers already, like earlier, like 2 weeks ago, I guess. Career is a series of work-related positions, So it's like a position, that a person occupy throughout their life, Usually when you look at careers, career path, individual view of career is actually different from organization view of career. In the past, people think of career as, well, I want to be in like one firm and I grow up in rank, right? And then like finish, get out of the job, and like I retire, all that. So that's kind of like their view of career, Whereas right now it's not really like that anymore. In our country, it's not as strong, like the concept of career. You have to be in the same place as, let's say, it's otherwise in, let's say, in Japan. Japan is a culture that has a very strong sense of career. So if you enter into an organization, you can expect that like you will be promoted through this and that, have like a very, very distinctive career path, and you don't change the job, As in you change the job, but you don't change the firm, You move from being kind of like a low-ranking office, like end workers, until you move to more managerial positions. Usually, but now things change. People don't stick in the same firms anymore, and also the pattern of individuals' work life also change. The way that people perceive work change quite drastically. We have like this concept like slow life. You want to build up capitals, and you want to like be like having a lot of assets, like do investment and hopefully let the capital work for you, that kind of stuff, So that's kind of like the new direction. And also, more people want to do freelancing. Usually it's not acceptable way in the past because you are identifying who you are. Used to be identified by what is your job or who do you work for, as in, like, oh, I work for like Thai Airways, or I work for, the SCG companies, and that kind of stuff, right? Or I work for these big banks or that thing. So people kind of like used to identify themselves with the institution they work for, but right now not really, like not as strong as before. So it's fine to say, oh, I'm freelancing. I work for myself. That kind of thing. That kind of stuff become more acceptable in the society. As in, like, if like you have friends who say, oh yeah, I'm freelancing now. I'm working like as not really as a temp. Let's say a temp is still not doesn't sound so good in Thailand. But like if you do freelance, especially if you do like art stuff, like art stuff, it sounds okay, fine. You are art director, you freelance, or you are like photographer, you freelance. That sounds perfectly okay, right? As if you are like financial analyst and you freelance, that's might sound a bit weird, but okay, fine. Right, so more people want to do freelancing, and like particularly to be exact, people in IT business, they, if you do freelance in IT business, you actually earn a lot more than you work for a firm. But more people want to work at home or have flexible schedules. Let's say like you don't want to do like 9 to 5 jobs. You want to be able to come in later, like finish work later and all that kind of stuff, right? So you also have more frequent job change. Changing job is common now. Or at least is more common than before. Like sometimes when you ask people like, yeah, should I take this job? You might expect that some people would reply back as in, it's okay, you're gonna be here for like 3 months. No, not 3 months. 3 months is bad. 3 years. You're gonna be here for like 3 to 5 years anyway. When you're gonna change job and you want to go to way higher positions. So that's kind of the mentality that people have. Because of this, the nature of career planning changed, because it's not about being in the same firm anymore, right? So if you look at it from the firm perspective, that's going to be somewhat alarming. You train people, you give them experience, you invest in them, right? You think that you develop them into kind of like a more capable workers, but then they leave, go work for someone else. So you must find some reason, or at least create the reasons for them to stay with you. Right. So if you look at the organization center career planning, the career planning from organization perspective or from firm perspective, the career planning, from the organization center's perspective, would focus on identifying the career path that would be the logical progression of people in the organizations, So what is this? Well, let's see, for example, if you are in the sales department, you might start with like being like a sales representative, right? You go out, knock door to door, all those things, And then you move to be an account director, you take care of like a regional clients in this area, or you take care of like a group of clients, like being the account director. And then you move to sales manager, looking over for the whole section. And then you move to the vice president of sales. So this will be the career path, of when you look at it from the organization point of view. Organization or the firm think that worker would want to move from sales rep to account director to sales manager to the vice president of sales. Well, not that everyone can be vice president of sales, obviously, but that's kind of like the growth of one workers. So if you look at this, you might think about, well, so in terms of organization, they'll think about how they can develop a sales rep to fit into the account directors, and then from account directors, what they need to be trained on or what they need to improve to be able to become a sales manager, and eventually to be able to be the vice president of sales of the company. However, if you look at the individual center career planning, you look at like our workers and how they think and how they look at career planning, that would be their path, like their own path, how do they feel that they want to move like from what job to what job, So it might not be in the same like linear department, kind of like in the same department as the organization would think, right? Sometimes, you feel that, oh well, I naturally want to maybe work in, like, I don't know, work in the bank for a bit. That would make me working in like loans and stuff, because entry level you probably can't really work in loans, So you do like loans, and then after that you want to change from this bank to another bank, apply for the other things, the other department. But that would be kind of like your career path, And then you said, oh, okay, and then maybe by the time that I'm like 45, I want to open my own business, do that stuff. So you're not looking at the organizational needs. You're not looking at your employers and see what they want. But looking at yourself and ask yourself what you want. So usually this is done by the employees, the worker, looking at their own goals and looking at their capabilities. Actually, there's also need to look at what they want really in their life. Some people have potential to do lots of things, but they don't want to. They're happy with being just a regular sales clerk. So can't help, right? People feel that. So it's kind of like a matching between individual abilities and the objective in their life. It would be helpful if they know their strength and weakness. If they know the strength and they know their weakness, they know that in which direction they can improve, in which direction probably not so much. So you can the employee can decide on their career path, based on the abilities, right, the strength and the weakness that they have. So if you look at individual career planning components, so what do they need to think about, when they make decision about their own career path. First, as I said, they need to do self-assessment, to know what kind of person they are. It has to be checked with the reality check. It's not like, oh, I think I'm so great at everything. It's well, probably no. So you have to recheck it with like what actually going on. What you actually can do. You can do tests. You can do performance appraisal. Something that we will talk about next time. The performance measurements of the workers. And then you might want to set the career goal depending on the information that you have about your capabilities and what you would like to do and whether it's like something that you can really do it, right? So if you look at the individual career choice, there are usually like these 4 general characteristics, that people look at, when they consider their career choice, As I said, it's not like everyone that is capable of being CEO will get to be CEO. And it's also not like everyone who is capable of being CEO want to be CEO. Right? So first of all, you have to have interest, something that they want to do, something that they decide to do, or something that they make decision to do. Self-image, what do they think of themselves? Some people feel that I don't want to be in like managerial position. This is like not me. I don't want to like go in and like point at people and telling them what to do and all those stuff, Or some people feel, oh, I'm not good enough for this and that. So the self-image is also important, Or what do they want to see themselves being, right? Some people like being the boss, right? Seeing themselves sitting in that chair. Or seeing themselves like standing in front of a lot of people, like saying, like opening the ceremony, all that. So the self-image is important. Personality is also important. Some people hate working with other people. Like, I don't want to work with other people. You cannot push that person to be in managerial position, aren't they? Because they're just not, like the personality doesn't fit. Some people work so well, but they cannot talk to other people at all, like bad interpersonal skills, So personality is important, right? Some people kind of like have this, I don't know, the air of power around them, So there might be better, choice, for the position. And then you have issues about like social backgrounds. Although I don't want to like be pessimistic and stereotyping on things, but in general, you might see that people from a certain social background, the certain social economic status, certain level of education, coming from different class, have different, let's say, perspective on life. Well, actually, in your programs is actually a very good place for like finding examples of this. A lot of you actually have parents owning firms, right? Like, well, not everyone, but many people do. So for people who have parents like doing their own business, you will see when you talk to them, or at least this is my impression. When you talk to them, for them, opening up a business, or being entrepreneur is somewhat attainable goal that can happen pretty quickly. You have some people when you talk to them, they have that mentality of, oh, I want to like buy this and sell that. I want to like sell stuff online. I want to open the shop for this and that. Whereas the other feel, that's too scary. That's too risky, because they are so familiar with their parents being the civil servants, like people who work for the government have a very secure job, so you don't like general the family like that would not like risk, you would not like to be put into the position that you'd have to fight for lots of things, whereas if you do like your own business, you might have a not really more preference, but you fear risk less than you don't fear risk as much as the people from like more stable kind of job families. And then you have like male, females, opinions toward jobs in general, I'm not sure about you guys, because now things change quite a lot, But it used to be in the past that, females, regardless of how good you are, it's really difficult for females to go into like managerial position. It's just only because the level of commitment you need to put in, for the job is exceeding the level that you can do. Because you have to balance between like families and your kids and all other things, right? So it becomes a bit difficult, at least from the social standpoint. You cannot be working until let's say 11 at night, after you marry, because your father and mother-in-law, your in-laws will look at you in a weird way. At least that's what happened to me. So they look at you strangely. It's like, what? Huh? You work on weekends? Why do you work on weekends? I'm like, because I work on weekends. Because there's a job on weekends, so I work on weekends. So the expectations of the society and all that might influence the career choice. Because that this is the thing that you have to balance. And there's also special issues. Well, before this, I want to look at this first. So if you look at the general career stage, sorry, that might look small. I'll zoom it up. If you look at the career stage, early career, mid career, late career, until kind of like the career ends, you will see that people have different needs for human resource development, and the concern that they have would differ. Now, for example, if you are in like the early stage of your career, right? You're like in 20-ish, so if you're in 20-ish, you just start the job, you might be in the stage that you want to see which job you like, which one you not like, have like a try and error kind of stage, You still be able to switch job, change, or at least you feel it is possible to change job. If you work for like first 3 months, you're like, oh gosh, this is nightmare. You don't like it at all, So you feel, okay, fine, maybe I'll apply for something else, So in the early career stage, you identify the interest, you explore several jobs, opportunities, see things that possible, So what you look for is external reward, money actually. Technically, it's money. You might go for the job that paid well, something that people tend to see more, That's one of the things that you might get as an advice, when you pick jobs, Some people see the, pick between jobs and they say, okay, well, how much you get paid? Instead of thinking about, well, what is the prospect of growth in your earning if you do this and that? Some jobs start low, but it provides you opportunity to learn, a lot of stuff, and if you switch job after this, with like all this experience, you might be able to get a much better job after that, But it's not like everyone looking it that way, right? People tend to go for, or at least people from my experience, like talking to your seniors, like all the graduates, they tend to be for the job that paid them highest, So they go for that first. I guess because they feel that after a few years they're gonna be in school again anyway, So that's why they pick for like the highest paid job first. Because when you talk to your friends and you compete on how much you get paid, you feel a bit better about yourself, right? I think, oh yeah, I get like paid like 60,000, And whereas your friend get like, I got like 25. So it is a lot of difference, right? You still meet with friends and you still compare this with each other, So that's the early career. And then when you turn to like 30, 40-ish, you'll be looking for something different. The needs, the thing that you want might be going to like advance in career. You're looking at positions. You're looking at the lifestyles that you have, what kind of family that you have, what kind of things that you want, how is that going to relate to the options in your, your job, like in your work, and how your job going to limit the option of your lifestyles, the growth and the opportunities to grow. As in, okay, you go into like managerial positions, you increase the position. So what they are looking for, the thing that they're concerned might be more toward like inside, right? They look at the contributions, they look at the value, like the thing that they create to the firms, the thing that they create to the societies, the well-being, like their own well-being, are they happy with their jobs, all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of like a switch, a change, right, from the early stage. And then you go to like a later stage of your career, so when like 50, you're like in the managerial positions already. So what do you want? Might be you want to update your skills. Some people settle in. They're like, okay, fine, I don't need to train him, I'm gonna retire in a few years, why bother, right? You might want to look at kind of like the leadership, looking at kind of like the leadership part, looking for someone, being someone that whose value is, whose opinion is valued, because now you feel like okay, you are in the stage of about to retire. You want to leave something for the firms, right? So the stuff that you concern would be, well, you want to mentor like new people, right? You want to kind of like leave your legacy, that kind of stuff, right? So you want to start disengage from the job because you want to be leaving the positions, right? So you might want to think about what I want to do like after this. You might want to maybe slow down a bit. And then you might want to think about the organizational continuance, finding some other people to fill in your positions, are you leaving the company in a good hands, that kind of stuff. So that's kind of the layer of the career. And then of course when your career ends, when you retire, so you want to look at like planning for retirement. You want to look at some other things that is not about work. What are you going to spend the rest of your life? Maybe I don't know, taking class, going travel, that kind of stuff. So the thing that you interest would be maybe a part-time employment, so you not get bored, right? That's actually like kind of like big questions in the aging societies. What are you going to do with all these elderly people? They retire, but they're still healthy and they want to work, but of course not like in the same 8 to 10 hours a day anymore. They want to work, they would work a little bit less. Sometimes, like in some countries, you see an example of people who do cleaning being like elderly people, because they can go out, get a job. Not that they need money that much. Some people do need money, but not that like everyone needs money. But they want to do some things, you know. Maybe they become like helpers in the stores, you know, because they have want to go out and do something with their life. You know, staying home is a bit boring. So there are special individual career issues. You know, there are some things that people might concern when they look at their careers. You know, the issues about technical and professional workers. You know. So for some jobs, let's say like engineers, scientists, or something that's not us, you know, like doctors and stuff, you know, like people in IT, you know, all these people tend to, you know, have their specializations in specific techniques, you know, or specific career path, you know. So for these people, it's like their job. Well, let's say if you want to put them into managerial position, that's another thing. By the way, my husband worked for IT, and now he's moving to like managerial position. And he kept saying that like, I don't work in the office anymore. I don't like it, you know, because he's so used to being in front of computers and feeling that like the job is actually, you know, like working in the computer, writing codes and stuff, right? So when the job moved from writing the codes to like the part of like you do a lot of meetings and other things, people feel like, this like I'm not doing anything at all, you know. So you might need to change the viewpoint of people like this, you know, to see them as well. They actually have like a dual career ladder, you know. So you can do both the management or the technical professional directions, you know. You want to improve and have like the professional aspect, or you want to go into like managerial directions, you know. So that might provide options, you know, for people when you have like a specific career path. You know. Similar thing with like doctors, right? You see like a lot of doctors being more like a managerial position instead of like actually going to hospital, you know, like seeing patients and all that, you know. They become like a hospital administration, you know. So they don't really teach much, you know, or even like our dean, you know, you guys will take class with her, right? I mean, she won't have time to teach a lot of class, you know. So compared to the time with like before she became a dean and after she became a dean, you see that the number of class that she teaches is a lot lower. You know, the hours that she spends in classroom will be lower because she's moving toward, well, not the professional as like. She's not on the track of being like a lecturers and professors and all that kind of thing, you know, but she's on the track of managerial positions, you know, like educators, like managerial educators. So that's kind of issues as well, you know, particularly for someone with like specific skills, right? And then you have issues of like women and careers. We already talked about this. You know, like expectation for women, you know, yeah, the trade-off between like families and, you know, like the work, you know, the responsibility to the family and the kids, you know, and your careers, you know, and the time that you want to spend working. And then you have career couples. You have like wife, husband, you know, working. How are you balancing the workload, you know, between like wife and husband? You guys haven't, well, you guys not the, by the way, do you take class with Dr. Sanha at all? Probably not, might be yours, because by the time that he probably stopped teaching. He used to teach math 1, like your math, the only math that you take, you know, not math 1, sorry, in your program you don't have math 2. So he used to teach math for EBA, you know. Now he's in Japan, you know, on having a research leave, but not really for research leave, but because his wife got a position with the IMDb, you know, the Asian Development Bank, actually the ADB, not IMDb, sorry, got a position with ADB in Tokyo, you know, the research center in Tokyo. So, you know, that's kind of like a clear example of, well, when you marry, and you need to balance between the career of one person and career of another person. What are you going to do, right? So if like your spouse get a position in some other places, let's say that require you to be away from your work, or require you to not be able to like spend a lot of time with your work, it is something that you need to talk in the family, and you need to balance it out, right? And then you have the issues about kind of like the global career concerns, as I said, the increase in kind of like a pool of workers, from everywhere, and then the worker from go to like various places to work, so that can become kind of like carry issues of people. If you study abroad, you will see this a lot more. When you go to like master degrees, and some of you do PhD degrees, like the possibility of working in several countries has become more real to you than what you're feeling right now. Right now you might go, oh, okay, no, working abroad is like whatever. But if you start like studying abroad, studying in other countries, you start seeing that it's possible to work other places, right? And now it's going to become a global career now, because the possibility of going here and there, working here and there, would become something of a possibility to you, right? So we come to the part of like developing of the human resource itself. First of all, I want to point to you that developing human resource and training is not exactly the same thing. We talk about training, quite a lot, extensively, but it's not exactly the same. It's somewhat similar, but not exactly. So what is the difference between development and training itself? Oh, sorry, no, it's not. Okay, maybe that. Right. Training is shorter terms. We talk about you continue training this and that. If you continue training your workers, it's a development. It's kind of like somewhat a subset, but not really a subset, because there are a lot of ways that you can develop workforce. Not just the trainings. But training is a part of it. So training in general. As we mentioned, in the beginning of this class, right? The beginning of this lecture, that training tends to target specific behaviors or target specific skills. You want to train them on this and that, So you put them in like classroom, or you put them in like online learning thingy, So the training would focus on, you learn specific behavior, you learn you do specific actions, you do techniques, you learn about like process, Whereas if you look at the development, development would be more like developing the human resource as a whole. So it's a combination of all these trainings that help develop the worker into someone who can do stuff better, have like better skills, like here and there, So it's more integrated part, trainings and experience and all the stuff, right? So when you look at the measurements, you want to look at how effective is your trainings and how effective is your development. It will look at a little bit different things. When you look at the effectiveness for the training, when you evaluate the training, you look at the cost benefit, right? You look at like tests, you put them in like the tests and see what they learn in their trainings, However, you look at the effectiveness of the human resource development. You want to see whether this is a good development path, for a particular workers or not. You would look at whether or not the firm can find workers to fill the position that they need. Can they find the qualified workers that have all these abilities, all these skills that answer to the firm needs, or filling the position that the firm wants. So you look at the availability of qualified people when need. You look at the possibility of promotion from within. So you can promote from within if you have the qualified people inside the firm, right? And you can have qualified people inside the firm if you develop your workers. For example, like sales reps going to have an account manager and all that type of stuff. So it will based on, well, let's say, the competitive advantage, of HR-based competitive advantage. So you increase competitive advantage of the firm by developing human resource in the firm, developing workers in the firm. So, sorry, I still have absolutely no idea how I can translate that into like the slide. I have to do like grilling of the sheets all the time. Right, so let's see. So the development, represent the effort, right, for the firm to improve employee ability to handle variety of assignments, So it's not just one particular skills anymore. They look at like they can do this job, and the job would have a lot of things they need to do, right? So it's about like variety of assignments, the capabilities that beyond what they require for the current job, because the development of human resource will look for the career path. That's the thing, when you talk about development of human resource, you talk about developing a person to fit into a specific career path, or maybe like multiple career paths, So it's not just about the present job, not about the present position, but about something that they would be promoting to the future, or some other jobs that they would change into the future, So if we look at the capability beyond what's required of the current job position, the exact kind of individual development actually depend on the capabilities of individuals, like the skills that they have right now, things that they can do right now, and also what the firm wants, from the workers. So the capability needs and the current capabilities, are things that you need to consider when you design on the individual development, right? Some important and common management capabilities, are well, when you talk about like careers, sometimes you talk about like promoting people into managerial positions, right? Moving them up the ladder, that kind of stuff. So you might want to look at like the management skills, the abilities to like deal with people. So the usual, management capabilities, and you might want to train them is like might be kind of like an action orientation. How can they make things happen? The quality decision making skills. They make decisions, like good decision, how can they make a good decision? And ethical values, I guess it can be taught, So how good a person is, the ethical stuff, you can't do this, you can't do that because it's wrong, Well, I guess you can train it actually through mentoring, usually, you can set the trend of how people can do something and how they feel that, oh, this one is wrong. Right and wrong can be taught actually, right? But people making decision on it, will still depend on the type of person anyway. And then of course like technical skills. So when you do the HR development approach, you want to develop human resource, there are various options, that you can do, in order to develop, the worker himself, So what they can do is three things, right? You have a okay, So HR development approach can be the job site approach, off-site approach, and learning organization approach, So what are the things right here? Well, job site is like the things that you can do on job, right? At the workplace, So that might include, let's say, coaching, mentoring, so you have people in the executive positions or in the higher positions, teaching you here and there, So that's a coaching, and then you have like committees, to help like train people doing this and that. You have like job rotation, you change people to different positions so they can learn things, or you can like assistant to someone position. That's like when you put like someone as assistant to here and there, so they will get to learn the job of whatever their assistant to, right? So to help maybe prepare them for the job in the future, then you can have the off-site approach, like the usual training things that we just mentioned. You can have like classroom courses, seminars. You can be on sabbaticals, maybe going like being in position some other places, maybe go to like different office, all that kind of stuff. And then you can have what we call like a learning organizations, right? So you go to like different organizations that facilitate the learning. It might be the corporate university, the CP university that we have, Panyapiwan, that's kind of like a corporate university examples. So you train people on that. We actually have several of these in Thailand. We have like Toyota, right? They have a training centers. So they have this kind of like training centers and all that. You have career development centers. Where people can come in and talk about what do they plan about their future jobs. What they want to do in future jobs and what they can accomplish or they can fill in those positions that they want. By training in one area. So you can guide them on that. Right. The next thing, in the human resource development is succession planning. The last thing we'll talk about today actually. The succession planning is trying to fill the future job vacancies. So the succession planning is a process of identifying a long-term plan for orderly replacement of the key employee. So let's say you need to find like people in managerial positions. You want to find a manager. In the future, you want to find a manager. So you might want to plan about, well, how can you get people into managerial positions? Who's gonna be taking over the department? Who's gonna be taking over the companies in the future? This actually have to be planned. Otherwise, you're gonna have a war inside the company, right? So hopefully, you'll be able to identify who are the potential options, for the successions, both not necessarily being just one. You can have several. Identify the people who have the potentials, and then what you would train them on. Usually. Well, it's like recently it has become a huge concern because of the nature of like baby boomer retirement, like that has been happening, So you have people leaving the managerial positions, so you need to find someone to fill in for those positions. And unless you do it more strategically, you will have like a dispute, inside the department. People feel, why not me, So that's something that HR has to concern on. So it's not just issues about the number of people, or the ability of the people. It has to be both of them at the same time. You have to have enough people to fill in those positions, and the people who will fill in the position have to have the abilities, or capabilities, to fill in the positions. So you can see here that, well, you have to think about like how many people that need to fill in those positions and how can you train them to be in the position, right? So what are the role of the HR? Well, because to be exact, HR is HR. HR is not in every single department, right? HR is like, separate department. How can you get in there and like mingle in the or intervene in the running of the other departments, Well, HR is not like doing all the job, HR is a part of the succession plan. HR is usually not the one who design, who would be, success in the succession for like a managerial position in, let's say, the IT department, that might be actually coming from within, but HR has a role in the succession planning. What you can do, well, as a HR, is that you can identify the development needs for the workforce, to fill in the positions. You can assist the executive or managers, that are leaving the job in the future,